You're listening to Power Femme Radio. This is a podcast where ladies come together and try to share their opinions and empower each other to be better women in society.
Did he just say try? You're listening to Power Femme, where women don't try, we do. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Power Femme podcast. I am so excited to be recording today's episode because today I'm in my new studio and I feel like this is such a manifestation. I never thought that I would ever end up having a whole room dedicated to my podcast. Well, I did. I wanted to manifest it, but I didn't expect to have it so soon. This summer was a wild one and I'm just so grateful that we have the ability to literally create our realities with our minds, because there was a point during the summer where I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to get back to recording in my studio. It's just not the same. So I'm super grateful. This is the first one we're recording in the studio. So today's podcast episode is called 4 Mindset Shifts That Will Literally Make You Rich. I feel like this has been highly requested by a few people. Some of my former clients have asked me to share some of my top money mindset tips with you guys. And so I think this one is going to be amazing. So we're going to start today's episode with a quote. This is one of my favorite quotes ever. My mom actually sent this to me a while ago, and I think it really goes hand in hand with everything I'm going to talk about today. So Bruce Lee said, "Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you're not changing, you're also choosing." Oh my God, isn't that incredible? So since today's episode is very much around money mindset, I just want you to take ownership for whatever current situation you're in. I realize that when you talk about money with people, that among some other things, I think when I used to talk to my clients about food and money, people get upset pretty easily. So no matter what financial situation you're in today, I just want you to take ownership for it and then think about this quote, right? How have you been speaking about your finances? How do you talk about your job every day? And beyond that, if you were to look at any other area in your life where maybe things aren't going so great, what has been the dialogue around these different areas of your life? Okay, so I'm going to just jump right into it. I've got 4 shifts for you that will literally help so much. So let's just go ahead and start with number 1. So number 1 seems simple, but it's so important. It's probably the most important step in creating wealth and abundance. So number 1 is create a vision for financial abundance. I think so many times we start taking aimless action with no actual goals to reach. And then, we end up falling short and we're like, oh my God, I'm never going to reach my goal. But if you can get clear on whatever goal it is, but specifically with money, if you can get clear on a certain amount of money that you want to make, and you can get clear about how it's going to change your life and why you want it, it's going to make making the plan so much easier. So what is your rich life? Like, what does that mean to you? And maybe it's been a while since you really thought about that. Like, sure, maybe you thought, oh, I want a house and I want these nice cars and I want to have my own business or I want to have this relationship. It's not necessarily all about money, but I am talking specifically about money. When is the last time you sat down and had an empowered thought about how much money you are making or want to make? I think we have this like arbitrary number in our minds, but when you're very specific about it and then you break it down and you're like, this is the vision that I'm holding for my rich life. Here's what I'm going to pay for. Here's what I'm going to do with my money. These are the experiences I'm going to have. That is what I would say creating a clear vision for your wealth is. And so I want you to get specific. I want you to pick a certain number. And yes, I want you to be a little unrealistic because I want you to have something to reach towards, but don't make it so unrealistic that it doesn't make sense. Like, maybe we just start with $100,000. Maybe we start with $20,000. Maybe you start with $5,000, right? It's up to you. But I'm just thinking in terms of financial abundance, I am thinking those larger numbers. I'm sure you're probably wondering like, okay, Heidi, how? So step number 2, mindset shift number 2. And this will help us kind of reverse engineer and figure out how we're going to get to that number is to use your gifts. So mindset shift number 2 is the easiest way to make money is to use your gifts. I do not subscribe to the belief that we came here and that life doesn't get to be fun, that life doesn't get to be easy. In fact, I do feel like the majority of things that we deal with in life, they're hard. And so when someone tells you, oh, you got to be serious and like you can't have fun and make money at the same time, I just hit unsubscribe mentally because I feel like what's the point of life if not? Like you weren't born to just come to this planet, hustle your ass off and not enjoy it and just make money and pay bills and die. Like I just don't think that that's why we're here. And so I think that, yeah, actually, I can enjoy making money. And so if you have maybe some deeper limiting subconscious beliefs about making money, and if that makes you a good person or a bad person, or if that makes you greedy, or if that makes you, anything but pure, then I think that's worth looking at. But what you're naturally good at is ultimately the easiest way for you to make money. So what do you take interest in? What are the things that you are naturally good at? Okay. Because the truth is, I've been doing this for like 15 years, actually. My first job ever. I was obsessed with fashion. This was when I was in high school. And I remember I was like, I need to make money. I didn't want to babysit. I didn't want to dog walk, which I was doing. It's just I wasn't making money. And so believe it or not, I didn't realize I was even starting a business yet. But I remember sitting down and being like, what am I good at? Like, how can I make money and go to high school and be able to pay for my dress for prom and my ticket to prom, but like not have to go every single day to walk these dogs? Like, this is stupid. I loved animals, but like I was just making $15 a week. It was ridiculous, right? And so I had a genuine passion for fashion and I loved like ripping up jeans. I did that in my spare time. I wore my own designer shorts every single day to school. And all these girls would tell me like, oh my God, Heidi, your shorts are so cute. Where'd you get them? And I'd be like, oh, I literally went to Goodwill and I made them. And I would cut the legs off and I would put holes in them and I would put those studs in them, stars. I would glue flags to the pants. Like I would paint them, distress them. And this was something that I genuinely just enjoyed. And I was selling these shorts for like $150 a pop. Like that's insane. And I remember one day I had 3 girls buy a pair of shorts from me. $150 times 3, that's $450. I literally paid for my prom dress in one day. So and I have so many other experiences with this. I've done this so many times. I even, started I went into personal styling. I then chased my passion from making jean shorts to then I was like, you know what? I want to go to fashion school. And then when I was in fashion school, I knew I had to make money. And so again, instead of just taking like any kind of job, I started working as a personal stylist. And, it's no secret that obviously I love performing. I also started acting and booking commercials. In fact, the first audition I ever went on, I mean, like my lifelong childhood dream was to be an actress. And the first audition I ever went on, because I was truly following my joy, was a national SAG commercial that I booked when I was like 12 years old. So actually that was like my first job. And that paid me for years. I had a nice little amount of money waiting in a bank account for me right when I turned 18. And so that's just like an example. But even with fitness, like my whole entire career, it has been largely supported by the fact that I genuinely chase the things that I love. When I fell in love with fitness in my early 20s, I started my first fitness coaching company because I remember being like, wow, like I'm acting, but I don't want to wait tables because I did that and I was miserable and I was somehow always broke and I was somehow always chasing my next paycheck. And I was so in love with working out every single day, improving myself, becoming the best version of myself. And I was like, you know what? I would really like to help other people do that. So that's when I started my first fitness coaching company. And And that was insane because I didn't expect it to do so well, but I signed one client and then I signed two clients and then I signed three and then I had four and then I had 10 and then I had 15. And then years later, I'd worked with over 130 women, like insane. And this was actually where I realized that I just fell in love with working with women and motivating women and empowering them. And then with that, eventually my fitness coaching company ended up turning into a full-on life coaching company, which led me to do my podcast, which blew up. So the point is that the easiest way for you to make money is to do the things that you fucking love, okay? The moment you try to get a regular job I don't want to say like you can't have any type of side hustle, right? Like you can do a side hustle doing something you love because the truth is there's going to be way less competition. But I have plenty of stories to where I was like, I'm going to go get a regular sales job. Like I remember the moment I was like, this was actually before the pandemic started, like 2 weeks before the pandemic. I got a sales job working for a company called MindBody, which is like a software company that helps you book your online classes for fitness studios. And I remember being like, you know what? I'm going to put acting on hold. It's not going great. I need to make some money. Like, I'm just going to go get this sales job. I get the sales job. And the week before I start the job, I'm in training. And I literally booked 2 SAG commercials in 1 week. And I remember telling them, I was like, I can't even come to training because I just booked these commercials. Like the moment that you put yourself in a job that doesn't feel aligned, you're going to feel it. Your intuition will not lie. There will be all sorts of dissatisfaction inside of you. And I feel like that's something that you have to listen to. But isn't it hilarious that like literally the second I was like, whatever, I'm unattached to acting. I'm just going to focus on this. I booked 2 SAG commercials, which have gone on to pay my bills for years. The point that I'm trying to make is that anything is possible, but the key is to stay the fuck aligned with your goals and with your passion and the things that light you up because fun is of such a high frequency. It creates the most magnetic frequency. You don't have to use me as an example of this. I'm sure there have been times in your life where you've gone after something that you truly just enjoyed and people were like, wow, you're glowing. Like, what are you doing differently? And it's just like, oh, I'm doing the things that I enjoy. Okay. So with that, I just want to ask you, what are the things that just naturally you're good at? That you could potentially make money? Is it designing things? Is it organizing? Are you so good at organizing? Maybe somebody needs a virtual assistant or an in-person assistant. I know that that's not my greatest strong suit. If you're listening to this and you are looking for a part-time job, let me know. But the point that I'm trying to make is that all you have to do to figure out your next best move is really go inward and ask yourself, like, what lights me up? What brings me joy? When you don't know what to do something that you love. Mindset shift number 3, and this is valuable, okay? I want you to recognize that your self-worth is very connected to your net worth, okay? Your self-worth will always determine what you will or will not allow, okay? And this doesn't just go for finances. This goes for dating in your relationships. This goes for how you spend your time. This goes for how you allow people to treat you or not treat you. This goes for the things that you will or will not tolerate. But yes, high self-worth, just imagine this, high self-worth equals high net worth. Low self-worth equals low net worth. Almost always you will never find someone who's extremely successful but does not value their time, money, energy, relationships, experiences, or any of the above. Hey babe, listen, today I've got a little secret to share with you. I'm going to give you something that has been monumental in manifesting my wildest dreams. You know, the ones that keep you up at night. I am about to spill all the beans on how to actually make them a reality. I'm talking about vision boards. Listen, I know we've all heard of this before, but vision boards literally are the key to bringing your visions into reality. I am telling you, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. I have used vision boards for years, and I've used mine to manifest cars, money, acting jobs, my fiance, my home, and literally so much more. If you want to manifest the things that you want more than anything in life, then you've got to stop sleeping on vision boards. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Since you're a Power Femme listener, I feel like we are friends, and real friends don't gatekeep. So I'm going to gift you a free vision board template. In fact, it's the exact same template that I've used to manifest my dreams for years. Want to know why vision boards are such a game changer? Because seeing your dreams every day right in front of you changes everything. It's like a magnet for all of the incredible things you desire. So no more waiting, wishing, or wondering if you'll ever reach your goals. So go to the link in my show notes and grab your free vision board template. This is where the manifesting magic begins. Vision boards are the secret sauce, and I actually had mine printed out and put in my bathroom so that I can look at my goals every single morning while I get ready. My clients have used this exact same vision board template too to manifest relationships, landing dream jobs, making money, and so much more I can't even begin to tell you. So I cannot wait for you to experience this too. Let's make our dreams come true together, and let's do it in record time. Get your free vision board template. Don't wait. What you want wants you even more. Love you, and let's get back to the show. Here's how your self-worth will affect your net worth, okay? It'll affect how much you charge for your services, how valuable you think your time is worth, and in turn, how valuable other people think you might be. If you have super high self-worth and you know that your time is valuable, you're going to charge what you're worth and then maybe add tax. If you don't value your experiences and your input and your intellect and your time, you might be in a place where you're like, well, I'll just do it for free, or I'll just work for this much money, or what's the minimum wage for this type of job? And I want you to also just recognize this too, that even if you're not an entrepreneur, or even if you've never had your own business, or even if you work for an employer, the same is true there. It costs a heck of a lot of money to replace somebody than it does to give an actual pay raise. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, I am extremely valuable. I do so much for the company that I work for, the person I work for, or my clients who pay me. I should charge more. Maybe this is your sign to raise your prices. This is something that I've learned in my business with my pricing. In fact, I remember giving away a lot of my time for free. So it's where do you draw the line? Because people will start to remember that you did that, and they'll start to think that they can use you for that. And that's not how you want to be seen. And I just think that how we treat ourselves and how we speak up for ourselves is such a good way to show the world and show the universe, never mind specific people, just the universe, that, you know what, no, this is what I'm worth and this is what I'm going to stick with. When you charge what you're worth, it fucking feels good. And I think that there's this energetic exchange that happens when you charge what you're worth, because you show up more excited to work, you show up more excited to serve your clients, as opposed to resenting them, struggling to pay your bills, not being able to show up fully because you're stressed out about money. That's never a really good feeling or energy, and then that's going to affect your work. And I think that there's something to be said about living gracefully. Yes, you of course don't want to offend your employers or your customers or anybody by saying, this is how much I charge. Of course you want to be within somebody's budget, but maybe they can't afford you anymore. But just remember, it costs a heck of a lot more to replace somebody than it does to just give them a raise or to keep working with them. And there are serious energy exchanges that happen in these types of situations. So value yourself and ask for what you're worth, and then add some tax. Because here's the thing, you want to love your work, and there's something to be said about being able to show up to work, do your job, show up in a way where you're calm and you're not stressed out about your bills or your debt or anything like that. And you can also live gracefully. Like, I think you should want to be able to not just get by. Like, you should want to be able to just show up to work, get paid what you're worth, and also enjoy your life. Also be able to go to a restaurant if you want to, or also be able to go shopping if you want. Of course, we all want this super lavish life. And I think this goes back to mindset shift number 1, which is, really creating that vision for your rich life. Like, what is that vision? And then you work your way backwards. Here's the other thing I want to say. Now more than ever, it's just so much easier to make money by doing less. Like, find ways to optimize your time and still make a lot of money. Don't discount your services because it doesn't necessarily take you a lot of time to do something. Time is not an indicator of whether or not you worked hard. Working harder doesn't make you more valuable. And I don't mean like, if you don't work hard, you don't have work ethic, because those are two completely different things. I just mean that you can work smarter and save a lot of time, which is very valuable, and then you can still make a lot of money. Those realities can both exist at the same time. Okay, so last tip. Number 4 is taking inspired action. And I've spoken about this so many times. I feel like I've actually recorded whole podcast episodes on taking inspired action. But listen, manifestation, it does require action. I think like there are definitely times where the action doesn't have to be this crazy bold move. It can be quite simple and quite subtle and very easy, but it does require action. So let me explain to you how inspired action is different than effort, okay? Here's one way that you could take inspired action. A practical step that you could start taking to create financial abundance could be just valuing your money, like where you spend it and how you spend it. So just even slowing down and saying, okay, where do I spend my money? And how do I value my money? And maybe I don't want my money going to things that I don't value, like subscription services you've forgotten about, or fees that you pay on delivery apps, or just random things that you don't need to buy anymore, right? Or maybe it's drinks at the bar, or it's meals out with friends, or it's buying somebody else's food because you just want to be polite, but like really you shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's a very practical and easy way to take your power back and create more financial abundance for you, right? Like, we got to value the money you have. I don't want you to feel like you need to hold on to the money that you have, but valuing it, those are two completely different energies. The second thing that you could do is start to value your time. Like I said, raise your prices, turn down opportunities that come up that are just quick cash grabs or like low-hanging fruit that aren't aligned with your big vision. If it's not something you enjoy doing and somebody is offering you this low-hanging fruit, it is no doubt going to take your eyes off the ball. I think every now and then it's okay to make sacrifices, of course. Like, we all have to make sacrifices when it comes to living our life and just being human. But like, especially when it comes to chasing your dreams, I feel like if you're a multi-passionate woman, we're conditioned to constantly make sacrifices no matter what, for our family, for our jobs, for our bodies. Like, literally, we're always doing that, right? But when it comes to your work and making money, what if you just started to see that like it's not about the money that's right there. It's about the money and the finances and the abundance and the rich experiences that are down the line. And what if you knew that you would never reach that down the line if you didn't put your head down and focus right here and right now? So yes, I think the most resistance actually comes when we're on the brink of something amazing. And that is when the opportunity will come through. That will be the thing that you don't enjoy doing, that pays you a pretty good amount of money. It could maybe just be enough to get by. And I just want you to notice those experiences and those moments and be like, am I settling right now? Am I choosing a moment that's just going to get me by? Or do I believe in myself and value my time and know that the payoff is going to come and it's going to be way bigger? Because time is your most valuable resource. In fact, Your time is so much more valuable than money. You are never going to get your time back ever. And please, dear God, listen to me as somebody who's turning 30 this year. My 20s went by so freaking fast. And if I have learned anything reflecting back on my 20s, it's that you need to pick one thing and you need to go all in. I am so multi-passionate. There are so many things that I've wanted to do, but thank God I started my coaching business 6 years ago and that I am able to have something to show for the one thing that I did go after. I also went after an acting career. I also, went after relationships, and there are so many things that I did. And trust me, I had many other side hustles too. But if I had just put my head down and focused on this and trusted, like, oh my God, at the end of my 20s, I will have a podcast and I will have a brand for women and like my ideal vision will come true. Like, I think I would have reached it a lot faster. Anyways, the point is I'm super grateful for every experience I've had, but your time is valuable and I will never have that time back. Actually, like no regrets, no regrets, right? When I've been obsessed with Suits lately, and I feel like it's actually like expanding my wealth consciousness. Josh and I have been watching Suits on Netflix. We got through all of the seasons, I'm not proud to admit, in a very scary short amount of time. But one of the things that I keep thinking about is like, oh my God, these people, they're making so much money in like no time. It's amazing. And one of my first jobs that I didn't mention here was when I was in fashion school, was working at a law firm. And if I had just realized that like the path is there and I just need to put my head down and do the work, I probably would have been a lawyer by now because the law firm would have paid for my law school. They would have totally put me through and I would have had a job at the law firm. But I was like, no, I want to go to fashion school and I want to be an actress. And those are amazing things that I'm very grateful, right? That I did chase the thing that I'm passionate about because it led me on this amazing journey. And now I'm here and I have a podcast and I coach women and it's amazing. But the point is, you want to focus on one thing as much as you possibly can. If I'm being radically honest with myself and with you guys, you want to have something to show for the time you put in, and you're never going to reach that if you're constantly job hopping or hopping from one opportunity to the next. So think long term and think about what really brings you joy and what lights you up and what is your rich life, what is your vision that you're holding, and what little steps can you take every single day to help you get there. And I don't care if it takes months, years, right? That's okay. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. And if you're in an insane amount of debt or if you're in some crazy amount of stress right now in your life because you're just trying to make ends meet and you're trying to get by, I promise you it will be okay. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. And the more you focus on the output as opposed to the outcome, the sooner the outcome will come. With all of this, understanding that time is more valuable than money, right? What is something that you can do today to start doing your side hustle, chasing your dreams, working towards that rich life vision that you have? What's something that you could do today? Because we got to stop wasting time. So much time will go by. And I think the number one thing that causes resistance is procrastination. And you will never get your time back. So what is something that you can do today? Do you want to start knit crocheting and sell your things on Etsy? Like, hell yeah, take the first step. Set up that Etsy account. Do you want to start a podcast like I did? Amazing. Sit down and write a concept for your show. Okay. Do you want to start your own coaching business? Great. Who are the girls you're going to serve? What do you have to do today to start the ball? To start rolling that ball, right? It's like, you don't have to have the whole thing figured out. Trust me, I never have had the whole path figured out, and that's okay. I'm figuring it out as I go. And these things, they might not make you money like right now or right away, but they do take you down the road that will bring you boatloads of money. Promise. So here's the key with inspired action, okay? You want it to pay off. Be persistent and consistent, okay? Stay the fuck aligned with your vision. Even if you are broke as fuck with thousands of dollars of credit card debt, or you have student loans, or you've lost all your money due to some crazy experience, right? Some inspired action that you take today is so manageable, and it's like you can do it. You can do small things. My number one thing that I told myself when I was starting my business was I just have to do 3 things a day. I don't care what it is. 3 things, that's all I'm committing to. It will move the ball forward every single day. But trust me, when you create a manageable plan and you just focus on taking small steps, it does pay off. Trust that taking the aligned path is the most magnetic one, and it will pay off. I promise. I promise. And if you try it and it doesn't, then give me a call, send me a message, whatever you got to do, and I will help you see how it does pay off in some way. Okay? Because life happens, and life isn't about the money. Like I said earlier, you weren't born to just come here, suffer, pay bills, and die, right? Life is about these experiences that make you richer. And sometimes the experiences that make you richer make you financially poorer, or they cost money, right? Like think about going to an amazing music festival. Is that going to make you financially richer? Maybe it will make you richer, like energetically, for sure. And maybe it's going to cost money, but it's going to add so much energy and experience to your life, right? Even the worst experiences, like I'm trying to think, like parking tickets. I remember when I lived in LA, I would get so many parking tickets. Like literally I didn't have a parking spot, and so I would get weekly parking tickets, and every single day I swear I would get several a week. I would go out there, I would take my freaking parking ticket that was like $67 at the time, and I would literally be like, thank you, universe, for this experience that's costing me money, but helping build my wealth consciousness. I can't wait to have an apartment or a home with a freaking parking spot. Like, it was so frustrating, of course, because I like barely could pay my bills and I was getting these freaking parking tickets, right? But like you learn from these experiences. You get a speeding ticket, you learn not to speed again, right? You go to college and you spend tons of money on a loan. Well, you learn that like, okay, I did this, I invested in myself. It's an investment in myself, and I'm learning these skills, and I'm going to go out there and create my reality, right? And so even if you are in any amount of debt right now, medical debt, credit card debt, whatever it is, I want you to stop thinking about the word debt and just think about it as investment. I have invested in myself, and I will pay it off eventually. It will pay off. My life experience will help me. Something will happen to where I will be able to pay this all the way off, okay? But again, life is here to make you richer, not just financially, but like energetically. And just because you're broke right now, it doesn't mean that you can't take these valuable lessons and see them as opportunities to help you make more money. So just a little note for everyone who's listening. There are people in this world who say that life is not all fun and games, and I get that. In fact, I think for the most part, life is actually quite hard, but I disagree that we're here to go out and not enjoy the life that we were given while we're here. So you are already so rich, bitch, okay? You're rich with experiences, and you are going to bring so much money in, you will not even know how to spend it. So I love you. I hope that this podcast episode motivated you and inspired you to stop wasting your time. Get up, as Kim K would say, get up and work, okay? You create your reality. So just to sum things up today, I hope that you create that vision for financial abundance for yourself. You get to decide and really romanticize that experience. Sit down with your vision board and really see what it would look like. Write out the dollar amount. Figure out how much money you want to make and how you're going to spend that money. Don't worry necessarily about how you're going to make that money. Just figure out how much money you want to make, and let's start with like 1 year and make it like realistic, a little bit unrealistic. Like I'd like to say a realistic goal and then make it scare you just a little bit, okay? And then of course, make that list of your natural God-given gifts or experiences that you've been through that have made you stronger, and now you have a certain talent or gift that you can offer to the world. Make a list of 10 things, starting with 10. I mean, I'm sure there's so many more things that you're great at, but make a list of 10 things that you could do, that you could charge for, that could possibly make you money. And then the third thing was Please work on raising your self-worth. Create healthy boundaries, right? Value your time. Really determine and figure out what you will allow, what you won't allow. See where you need to ask for a raise. See where you need to raise your prices. See where you need to let people know it wasn't okay that you spoke to me this way, or that it's not okay that you treat me this way, or it's not okay that you show up for me like this. And even just start valuing your time. Start showing up for yourself. Start treating yourself how you want to be treated, and pay yourself how you want to be paid. And then lastly, take inspired action. Do not take any action out of fear. Stop before you leap, look before you leap, and ask yourself, is this based in fear or is this based in love? I love you so much. You totally have what it takes to create a rich life, and I will see you next time.